Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Elson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Ambrogio Piazzoni, Vice Prefect of the Vatican Library and author of a book on the history of papal elections, distributed a sheet of some curiosities about papal elections to reporters after a briefing at the Vatican. Some of the more interesting facts on the sheet included ages of previous popes. Pope Benedict XVI is leaving office at the age of 85 after being elected at the age of 78. According to Piazzoni, of the 102 popes whose age at election is known, Pope Benedict was one of 17 elected bishops of Rome between the ages of 71 and 80. On the other end of the spectrum, according to Piazzoni, 3 popes were under the age of 25. The last was Pope Gregory V, who was 24 when elected in 996. 7 popes were between 25 and 40 years old. 11 were between 41 and 50. 24 popes were in their 50s. The most recent was Blessed John Paul II, who was 58 years old when he began his papal ministry in 1978. The majority, 37 popes, were between 61 and 70 years old. Piazzoni also provided a list of lasts. The last pope who was not a cardinal yet when elected was Pope Urban VI in 1378. The last who was not even a priest yet was Pope Leo X, and the last born in Rome was Pope Pius XII, elected in 1939. In news now from around the country, in a 354-72 vote, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill that will allow Federal Emergency Management Agency disaster funding to go to churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, and other houses of worship. Representative Elliot Engel of New York said that many churches were the only shelter available to people who lost their homes during Hurricane Sandy. Representative Peter King, also of New York, said that organizations should not be denied federal assistance in times of need just because of their religious affiliations. The Federal Disaster Assistance Nonprofit Fairness Act of 2013, co-sponsored by Representatives Chris Smith of New Jersey and Grace Meng of New York, will provide federal assistance to all nonprofit organizations regardless of religious affiliation. The bill must now pass the Senate before the president signs it into law. More news now from the Vatican. Pope Benedict XVI's decision to resign from the papacy may not have been a traditional one, but many church leaders and Catholics are speaking out in support of his move. Rome Reports has a look at some social media initiatives that many organizations have started to show their support.
Ever since Benedict XVI announced his resignation, the most active Catholics online have launched initiatives to show their support. One of them is titled Give Thanks, an idea from Regnum Christi and the Legion of Christ to show their support for Benedict XVI through Facebook and Twitter. It allows them to share experiences, videos, photos, and other initiatives to thank him or even pray for the Pope. Using the hashtag 2BXVI, they encourage users to write a message to the Pope on Wednesday, February 20th at 8 p.m. local time in Rome. The organizing group is analyzing the possibility of repeating the virtual event until February 28th, the last day of Benedict XVI as Pope.
Looking now at news from around the world, on February 17th, 56-year-old Father Evaristus Mushi was murdered outside his parish church in Zanzibar, which is now part of Tanzania. Now Zanzibar's Bishop Augustin Shao says priests and other clergy in his diocese are terrified by what is seen as a terrorist attack. He said the clergy was warned of attacks before and after the tragedy. The Vatican's Fides news agency reported that a text message received by bishops and priests in Tanzania after Father Mushi's death said, "We thank our young men trained in Somalia for killing an infidel. Many more will die. We will burn homes and churches. We have not finished. At Easter, be prepared for disaster." Signed, Muslim Renewal. Bishop Chao said the texts had been passed on to the authorities. About 30% of mainland Tanzanians are Christian, 35% are Muslim, and 35% profess traditional African beliefs. In Zanzibar, however, more than 95% of residents are Muslim. On February 10th, a Protestant pastor in Zanzibar was killed and another diocesan priest was shot and seriously wounded on Christmas Day. And finally in the news, Indonesian Cardinal Julius Darmatmaja, who is the retired Archbishop of Jakarta, Indonesia, is not going to be participating in the conclave. The 78-year-old cardinal said his health and deterioration of his eyesight led to his decision not to travel to Rome. The cardinal said he made the free and personal choice because not being able to see and not being able to bring an assistance into the conclave with him would impose a serious obstacle to participating in the cardinal's work. He said that the responsibility of electing a new pope requires serenity as well as an ability to read texts and documents. The cardinal also said he fully understands Pope Benedict XVI's decision to resign for health reasons, saying he experienced this firsthand when he was Archbishop of Jakarta and decided to resign at 75 years old. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.